Hi, today we're going to take a look at Apache Zeppelin, really in conjunction with Spark and what it means for the end users as well as, for the administrators. So Apache Zeppelin, it's gaining steam. There are other competing products out there that are more popular, like Jupyter Notebook. And we'll take a look at Jupyter Notebooks as well in a later video. But for now, let's take a look at Zeppelin, right? So as with everything else, everything starts with the Ambari. Obviously, if you are a data analyst who is regularly using Zeppelin notebooks, to produce, to analyze data, to produce visualizations, to share these visualizations, then you know where to go. But let's start at the beginning and see where everything resides. So here I am at the dashboard page of my Ambari installation. I have clicked on the Apache Zeppelin notebook. As with everything else, the quick links are right here. So I'm going to click on the Zeppelin UI and start interacting with it. Now, Zeppelin, the security aspects of Zeppelin are somewhat half-baked right now, in my opinion, but they're getting there. Um, so, as with any notebook-oriented solution or technology, you need to log in, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to log in real quick, and you can do your own specific user management, through a variety of different UIs. We're not going to get into all of those, obviously, but it integrates, reasonably well with GitHub and code repositories, and you can obviously read through all of the documentation, specific to Zeppelin, and you can go look at the issues log if you feel like there are some issues that you want to deal with. So once I log in, you can see that it's really very simple UI. You have your notebooks, and you can take a look at the notebooks, and it'll show you, your own folders that you have access to. Jobs are, if you have something that is already running, you know, uh, or things that have already run, and you can see the history of all of the jobs that have run. As with anything, like these jobs, obviously there were some errors, with these jobs, and then uh, some executions finished successfully. Um, Now let's go back to the original, homepage, and let me quickly walk you through some basic understanding of um, how everything is oriented. Obviously, you can look at the about Zeppelin, and you can read through it. Uh, Interpreter, which is really the at the heart of Zeppelin notebooks, right? Because what you're doing, in a sense, is you are utilizing an interpreter such as R or Scala, specific to Spark or Spark 2. Those interpreters is something that you are interact with. You're going to execute code using those interpreters, verify the output, and then display the output. So this is kind of key in terms of interpreters. So let's take a look at all of the interpreters that I have installed. And typically the um, interpreter that you want to work with should be really at the top, but it's important to make sure that there's this green dot, and the green dot says it's ready, right? So I have Angular interpreter, Elasticsearch. In some of the previous videos, we had looked at how Elasticsearch was used in conjunction with NiFi to do streaming analytics. You can, instead of using another UI like Grafana, you can use Apache Zeppelin to connect to Elasticsearch, obviously, and go from there. So let's really quickly take a look at what all, how you have to set up these interpreters. And obviously, depending on the interpreter, there will be a variety of different properties that you may have to set. Um, I have obviously set up Elasticsearch host and port and the cluster name and the transport and so on and so forth. Let's take a look at, I don't want to really change anything. Uh, so I'm going to go back and show you some of the other things like, for example, this JDBC interpreter, right? Um, and again, think of these interpreters as your data sources for a standard BI tool, right? So all of these other things are obviously pre-built based on the installation that I have, and you can obviously configure it all. So you have MD, you have JDBC, you have Shell, so many different interpreters, and obviously Spark, and I believe there should be a Spark 2 coming up as well. So all of these, you have to make sure that all of these interpreters are in working order before you can do anything else. In the next video, we're going to take a look at a Zeppelin notebook, how code snippets can be built, can be utilized, and we'll go from there. Thanks for visiting.